it seemed that he had an illness which was progressive and from which he would never recover, and he was put away in this chronic disease hospital. He retained all his intelligence and was actually one of the first to hear about L-DOPA. In 1967, it was in the newspapers, and Leonard L., he read about dopamine, the transmitter in the brain, and he called it resurrectamine. And he, like a lot of the patients, started to wonder if the impossible could happen, if they could be resurrected. And I keep wanting to give his real name, which is Ed. He's Leonard in the book in the film, and I can only think of him as Ed. He gloried in the effects to begin with, and became exuberant and almost manic, and then ran into problems, as all the patients did. But the summer of '69 was a wonderful lyrical sort of time for him and for all the others who, although a perplexing time, because they were encountering, they'd been out in the world sometimes for 30 or 40 years. The one, Sylvia, used the term that all rather like that, she had had a very acute form of sleepy sickness in 1926, and basically had been frozen for 43 years.
Are they frozen in their minds, or can they actually hear what's going on?
Well, we wondered about that, and when she became able to talk, I asked her the date and things, and she said, I know it's 69, but I feel it's 1926. She said that so far as she was concerned, nothing had happened in the intervening years.
But was she aware of the activity around her? Could she tell you that, or was her mind also sleeping?
Well, it was sleeping, what was sort of revolving on axes of its own. There was counting compulsions. She also had a little theme from Verdi, which would go through her mind, which she called later a musical quadrangle, and she would get trapped inside of this. So she wasn't unconscious, but maybe it has some resemblances to delirium or dream. But there were all sorts of strange alterations of consciousness.
Did she have emotions? Was she panicked? Was she sad? Did she hear things? Do you know?
Well, a lot of the patients did not have emotion. And another one said that that she had ceased to experience either happiness or sorrow when her parents died, which she heard of. She had no emotion. So there was often apathy as well as...
So she did hear. This is when she was frozen. She heard.
Yes.
But no emotion. You said that the patients run into problems or ran into problems. Can you explain that?
Well, from having been immobile, a lot of patients became hyperactive. And some of those had sort of tics and compulsions, and
From the dopamine, or
from the dopamine, and a syndrome rather like that of Tourette's syndrome. Some of them became manic or psychotic. With most of them, sooner or later there was a balancing out, an equilibration in which they were neither as high as they believed, which was too high. But it's in a situation like this, the only right amount of a drug is enough for them. There was either not enough or too much.
I mean, that's still the case with people who have Parkinson's and go on dopamine, right? I mean, calibrating the exact.
Yes, but you may have a long period, many years of relative stability with them, whereas with these patients there were only a few weeks and then they were in trouble.
Now, do you still see, now, I don't know, I'll ask it two ways. Do you still see patients like that, and are there still patients like that?
I still see patients, but there are really no patients like this anymore because the epidemic disappeared around 1925.
It was an epidemic of what?
There was a worldwide epidemic of what was called sleepy sickness or encephalitis lethargica. It had its maximum in 1918 when there was a worldwide flu epidemic, but it seemed to be separate from that. There are supposedly a few sporadic cases of this now, but I haven't seen anyone with it for years. And it brings back a lot, sort of seeing them on the film.
Now, this hospital was in the Bronx, right? And you stayed at that hospital for years and years.
From 66 to 06.
66 to 06. Well, I guess my next question isn't going to make much sense, but let me ask it about the very early years when you started working with these patients. Were you on one kind of path in your career, and this made a U-turn, took you off in a whole different direction than you were planning?
Well, I didn't have any sense, and I've never had any sense of having had a career. But at that time, briefly, I thought I would like to be a neurophysiologist, a lab scientist, but I was exceptionally clumsy, and I was always breaking apparatus and having accidents. In 66, they said to me, "Get out." Go see patients. Will do less harm. And so if you want, there was a career switch from. But when I came to Beth Abraham and I saw these and other patients, I was sort of enchanted, and I thought I want to stay with them. Most doctors avoid chronic disease hospitals, but I found them wonderful to work in. Because you encounter the whole life of a person. You can intervene in various ways.
Well, instead of talking about the whole life, let's talk about music and therapy. How did you really begin to hone in on the fact that music could begin to heal people?
Well, we started with the Parkinsonians by providing music when we could. At that time, it was difficult to provide individual music. It was a sort of, there were music days and music hours. But over the years, and especially after 1980, we had a full-time music therapist and assistants, and home care, especially with the patients with dementia.
Dementia?
Yeah.
Well, you wrote a book, you've written several articles about patients where music alleviated and helped them. And I'm going to ask you to talk about a couple. There was one man who was struck by lightning. Does that ring a bell?
Oh, indeed, yes.
Because he had something, I don't know if you coined the word, you called your book by this word, and I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Musicophilia. How do you say it?
Musicophilia.
Musicophilia.
No, and curiously, it's not in the dictionary, love of music, although musicophobia, hatred of music, is in the dictionary. And also musicomania is. But anyhow, I hope from now on musicophilia will be.
Well, tell us a story about the man who was struck by lightning.
Well, he was and is an orthopedic surgeon upstate who had no special interest in music, and certainly no interest in classical music. And about 50 years ago, he was on the phone to his mother. This was before cell phones. He was using a phone box, and there was a storm approaching, which he paid little attention to, and then suddenly a bolt of lightning came, and it leapt out of the phone, and hit him in the face and threw him back several yards. And then he said something strange happened. He seemed to rise, to levitate, and to be looking down on the ground, face down from a height of 6 or 7 feet. And he saw his motionless body on the ground, and people trying to do cardiac resuscitation. And then he went on and had some other visions of a bright corridor and a bright light. And then suddenly this corresponded with the fact that that his heart had been restarted. Suddenly he came back into his body. With some regret, because this had really been a blissful experience. And he said to the person who had revived him, he said, "It's okay, I'm a doctor." And he refused an ambulance because he was a doctor. But the various changes, his memory was interfered with a bit for 2 or 3 weeks. He had difficulty thinking of names and technical names. But then that came back. But what was extraordinary was that this man, who had never had any interest in classical music, now had an overwhelming, devouring passion for it. And for Chopin in particular, he sent for records and CDs. He then decided that he wanted to play, and he got himself a piano teacher and a piano, and then that he wanted to compose. And in fact, he is now, between orthopedic operations, going around various cities in upstate New York, playing his own compositions, some of which try and sort of represent his coming to. So I think one has to say that there was some potential or something latent in the man's brain which was sort of brought to life by the lightning. But it's very, very strange, yeah, and we never really could investigate it.
Is there a place in the brain where that kind of passionate love of music actually resides, so that if he'd been struck in that place, it awakened